Is the mic functional? Is the mic plugged in? Do you got a red light on that side? Normally the mic's facing the other way, and I know.
I'm sorry. Yeah. What do you got? Is it the bidirectional?
Yeah, it looks like the number 8.
Or the infinity sign.
Mm-hmm.
That means it's working.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So does that mean this is our intro?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah, we're ready to go. Like we're gonna hurry up and just rip through. Like if we could do this at about 15 minutes, I'm really tired. Maybe I should just hand my notes off to the Micro Machine Man.
15 minutes.
Let the Micro Machine Man.
I don't think you can cover. I mean, that's for the insane YouTubers that are like everything wrong with this in less than 5 minutes
everything wrong with this.
I'm like, no, this cannot be covered in 15 minutes. No. This right here to me is the material, and I probably have a note on it somewhere in here. That, like, as if I were a psychology professor, I'd say, okay, children, we're going to watch this. Of course, at the college level, I guess I wouldn't call them children. But
I'd be like, give them a complex.
We're going to watch this. Give them a complex to work through for the semester. And then, freaking discuss it immediately after. That's going to be the rest of class. Shoot.
Yeah, you could.
You could, very easily. It's like, here's your homework. Go watch this TV show. And we'll discuss.
I had a couple of high school teachers like that. We're going to watch... I had a current affairs class that the teacher half the time had us watch the McLaughlin Group.
Oh, yeah?
And then we would discuss... Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, so what we got... I'm trying to remember. The topic is Westworld Episode 9.
Oh, yeah, and this is Two Lazy Guys.
Yeah, I'm Dave.
I'm Jared.
Did we even do an intro officially like that on the last? I didn't even notice.
I don't think we've ever... Sure, yeah.
On the last one, no, I don't think so.
Why not?
I don't know. I forgot about it, frankly.
No, yeah, we did it. We did it. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I should take notes during the show to note down what we actually did.
Notes for notes. Notes to take notes.
Okay, so anyway.
Make a note of that.
Anyway.
Yeah, we start
This one
with
kicks
Maeve.
Off with Maeve. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Maeve
and she's in the usual joint, right? Surrounded by all the other glass rooms.
Yeah, down there. She keeps getting...
Oh, that's right.
I had bumped into... what's his face? The guy that, he was on the couple episodes ago with us. Josh, yes. Yeah. I bumped into Josh. And was... because I watched this the other night and was talking with him a little bit about it. And he said, out of this whole place and all these like hundreds, maybe thousands of hosts, we don't know how many are in the park. Why the heck does Maeve keep winding back up with Sylvester and Felix? Like, are specific hosts assigned to certain butchers? Because every time Maeve dies, she winds up back in Felix's room. Why doesn't she go to any of the other butchers? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe they're assigned to, a specific number of hosts. That way they have an intimate knowledge of how the host works.
Maybe Felix is flagged to deal with her or something.
Yeah, that way the technicians know. They have a more intimate knowledge of how the host works to maybe help easier identify issues.
That could
maybe
be
a little quicker. I don't know.
Yeah, but... Okay, so interesting point about how this one starts. She is, she's up with Bernard, covered in new Clementine's blood.
Oh yeah.
But this was not an instance where she planned to be back in what she's calling hell. So this is kind of an unscripted moment for her, and she's playing dumb as best she can. But yeah.
Yeah, she does for a little bit.
I know you want to talk about the interaction between her and Bernard, who was just recently rolled back to where he doesn't recall Djawadi.
Yeah, the fact that he's a host. But somehow Maeve can immediately identify him as a host. Maybe she sees his Wi-Fi access point, like he's broadcasting an SSID, Bernard.
Maybe.
And she can pick it up. Oh, I don't know. Maybe. But she can identify the fact that, you don't know. You're Mechanical man.
Yeah, you're different from them. Mm-hmm. What I found funny was that it seemed like she looked at his hairline.
Oh, yeah?
So I'm almost like, so robots have different hair.
Maybe so. Maybe he's looking like the hair plugs, like doll hair.
She's like, oh, you're not a hominid.
Oh, no. Maybe so. And Bernard's he's still having real problems with his, where he can't figure out like what to say or react. And you can see him, it just looks like he's ripping through emotions at high speed. Just, no, wait, huh? You know, sort of like Kiff.
Yeah.
Futurama. But,
Leela. Yeah.
Leela, I hope not. Then Amy get mad at him.
No, I'm sure.
But anyway, yeah. What? So
yeah, that's my second note. Actually, is poor Bernard.
Yeah,
I mean, just
Bernard.
Good gosh.
I just
He's been
keep
through
writing
so much.
Yeah, I keep writing poor Bernard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and shortly thereafter, I kind of skip ahead a little bit because Dolores is, it skips to Dolores, or we move to Dolores, but Dolores asked, a guest. I don't remember who it was. It was one of the people. Might have been William or somebody else. I didn't write that down, but she asked, "Why do you come into the park if the world is so great?"
Oh yeah, yeah. See, I think that was, interestingly enough, that's my very first note, and I think that is also the one I wanted to go with. That however I put it, encompasses the entire
captured
episode.
the sentence in a Pokeball.
Exactly. Because, she asks, if it's such a nice place out there, why are you clamoring to come in here? Mm-hmm. And, I think she said that to Logan and William, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Because they were having a discussion. Mm-hmm. And Logan's the one that makes the comment, about out there.
Oh, yeah, something out there and how it's,
that was
almost like utopian, but there's a life of luxury.
Yeah.
So people don't really have to worry too much about, I guess, maybe the basic necessities, because clearly there's still a social economic hierarchy. I mean, if you can afford $40,000 a day or something to come into the park, which apparently, if these are all flashbacks, means that William and Logan spent like weeks in there, because Logan, starts out Black Hat and stabs a dude in the hand, and like weeks later they're still in there. It's still the same deal. He's like a general.
Is it weeks?
Yeah, it has to be, man, because they started out getting off the train. Then there's Dolores. All these William goes hiking all over the park with her. Logan becomes a general in the army.
God, it seems like it's only been 4 days.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought that too. I was
I
like, maybe it's only a couple days, but for Logan to go, maybe unless the game just, the park just does literally whatever you want.
Yeah,
he might just have jumped in and be like, "Oh, I'm a general in the army,"
right?
Because that seemed to happen shortly after he got beaten up, after the fake out with the nitroglycerin.
Yeah, and see, I mean, since we're on this topic. What's awesome is Logan whips out the picture from the pilot.
Yeah, and says...
That's the picture of his sister.
Yeah, that's Logan's sister.
That is William's intended. Mm-hmm. So I wrote down the picture from the pilot, turns up, time jump confirmed.
Yeah, because it's all raggedy whenever Dolores finds it in the dirt.
Well, yeah, it was her dad that finds it.
Yeah, that means the picture's been floating around in the park, at least around Dolores' house, for 3 decades.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, considering where they're at. Now, okay, so here's an interesting thing.
That's a heck of a print quality.
Look at, no joke. That was some
buried in the dirt.
Carbon fiber stock that was printed on. Yeah. But no, what's interesting is, okay, so Logan thinks he needs to help William recenter himself, or come back to reality, if you will.
Yeah.
And how he does it is, I mean, he's always, all right, let's go over the top because I understand how this world is. But I wrote, how did, what's her name? Dolores.
Clementine. Oh,
Dolores.
Okay.
How did Dolores not air her out after being gutted?
How did she not air her out?
Yeah, because he grabs that Bowie knife and just and guts her. And
yeah, it was
rips
like
it
Godfather 2 style. Like,
yeah, and I'm just like, okay.
Peeled her like an orange.
So, yeah, how did she not air her out from that? Because looking down and...
Yeah, she's getting to the same place Maeve is, though. She's far enough along that, you know, they since they're not really alive, the only reason they die is because something has told them to, and if they can override that bit of their programming, they don't die.
Did she dial back her freaking
Can't even
pain?
die. Well, she still didn't seem to. She still didn't seem to enjoy the knife being in the tongue.
No, she didn't.
You know, she screamed a bit.
Sure.
So, I think the pain was all there. But then afterwards, she was like, yeah, it turns out. Maybe her realization went that quick, like, well, I guess I don't need to really worry about dying so much, because she runs off. And, you'd think, oh, she's suddenly repaired. But then you're not actually sure if she's flashed back, though, to an earlier time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I also wrote William is in the past. Young William. Let's put it that way. Let's see. I don't even remember why I wrote that one.
Oh, man.
See, I'm still staying with William and Logan. What I found funny, and I wrote this down, the Vegas line came out of Logan. Like, I've been waiting to hear that the entire time, and to have Logan be the one that delivers it. When I say Vegas line, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, yeah.
What happens in the park stays in the park. I was like...
Except for
oh my gosh.
robo-syphilis. Maybe.
That stuff stays with you forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I know. I did notice that as well. I got a huge chuckle out of that. After that, I go to Ford and Bernard.
Oh, yeah?
Talking. And Bernard...
So is this downstairs in cold storage? Like B83 or whatever we decided.
I don't remember if it was...
Oh, no, it was B82.
No, it was B83, I thought.
Yeah, because that's what I noticed. You know, we were talking about B82, that he had to go down and figure out the GPS stuff. 83 actually exists.
Yeah, 83. Yeah, 83 actually exists. So that's the cold storage. Yeah, Bernard went to B82 because he has access.
Yeah,
he's allowed.
I'm allowed.
Bernard. Yeah, I put that Bernard and Ford were having their interaction, and Ford tells Bernard that basically he says, "I can destroy you if I want." And Bernard, replies that Arnold created the host for something more.
Yeah.
And just that. It's sort of. I wonder if we'll get more on the Arnold Ford relationship, like a history somehow. I don't know if maybe it'd be video, like if they could find some archival footage, because clearly they record everything that happens in that place ever. Which, speaking of which, now I'm not sure why nobody can find archival footage of Arnold in a video bank, unless they adjusted the no CM slider, like Bernard found in Premiere.
I thought we finally learned that this episode, though.
What?
Arnold. We did, didn't we? Yeah, we did.
Okay.
This was the episode.
Yeah. Well, I believe that's
reveal.
right. Yes, but that the not the big reveal, but just the human Bernard or human Arnold and human Ford's actual history, because you always see young Anthony Hopkins running around, but you never actually see Arnold. And that's because they sat on it for a while, sure, but why not then show everybody the history? Because the whole thing it's not even like almost an external conflict, because Ford seems to be able to handle all the external conflicts, the board wanting things shut down, yada yada yada. But he's constantly grappling with Arnold, and it's like he can't get rid of him. You know, Arnold died in the park, but then now his ghost is in the machine of the park, dinking around with the host. You know, so we're led. You know, or at least so we're led to believe. Anyway, it's, you know, everybody can talk to Arnold, and you know, Ford just can't seem to get rid of him, but they have such a strong disagreement, basically on what the hosts are, because Ford views them as, you know, the same, like in the same way you would look at a can opener, and Arnold believed them to be alive. You know.
Well, yeah, because. Well, I'm jumping around a little bit. I thought that was clever how I just wrote, "Oh snap, Clem is a killer," because he took what was left of her and reprogrammed her to be able to pull the trigger on
Yeah, Clementine does get one last job.
And then I wrote down here, Arnold wanted to create consciousness.
Yeah.
And I thought that was fascinating how it was explained. I believe it was explained. Well, I don't know. Ford's standing in front of that thing, and it's like he's got the pyramid and all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
trying to figure out how it works. But
information. It's got data at the bottom, and then information, and then knowledge, and then.
Don't you dare!
Right at the top. Okay. Yeah, he does have the pyramid of life.
Yeah, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, I wanted to pause it and go back and look, and then I kind of rewound it a bit and looked at it again, and I was like, it's not. They didn't hide any real big Easter eggs in there. I didn't think.
Yeah. God, man. Okay, so I want to try to keep it between. Should we just call him Arnold now? No, I guess he's still Bernard.
Yeah, man, that's Bernard.
He is Bernard because
he is Bernard.
Clearly, Arnold died.
Yeah, Arnold's dead.
And even though he was recreated in Arnold's image, even Ford says it wouldn't be right to call you after him.
Right. That's why he made
he's his own thing.
Bernard.
And I thought it was awesome that we finally get to see him in the picture. Because as he keeps delving into his memories. And yeah, that was the awesome thing. Okay, so in talking about that interaction, God, I want to try to.
Well, it explains the poor composition of the photo in the original. The first time Bernard's shown the photo, how it's Ford and some guy, and then empty space off to the right, like some tourist took the picture.
Clearly photoshopped.
In my travels, I've asked people, "Hey, can you take my picture here?" And I've learned to just not do it. I'll just live without a picture myself, because every time somebody's like, "Oh, you want me to take a picture of you here, like you and your wife and your kids?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And they take it, and it's like the worst picture anybody's ever taken.
Yeah.
They try and help out, but it's like the camera's turned 25 degrees to the left. And it's blurry because they closed the flash when I left it open.
Jeez.
And they cropped everybody, the top, like one person's like half their face is out of it. Yeah. And I just go, thanks. And so if I'm out alone and I'm trying to take a picture of something, people will go, "Hey, you want me to take it?" No, I'm good. I don't want to have to delete that while you're looking. But.
All right. So, okay. So the coolest thing, and again, going back to my psychology class comment, identity makes up the cornerstone. Cornerstone was the thing I was trying to remember in the last episode that Elise brought up.
Oh, Elsie?
Elsie, thank you. Elsie brought up. God, I swear it was either the pilot or episode 2. And I mean, she
Ford's
briefly
mentioned it too.
Yeah, she briefly talked about it, and I couldn't remember what it was. But so identity makes up the cornerstone, and I mean, it kind of goes back to what we discussed on one of our B-sides conversations about, the experiences we have in life. Whatever we identify the most with is how we identify ourselves, type of stuff. I found it interesting because if I could find the one freaking note. See, I'm not crossing off stuff, so it's kind of hard to find things. People are anchored to reality by tragedy.
Well, yeah.
So, okay. I mean, true, but that isn't what defines people. So that's why I find it interesting that Arnold thought that tragedy best anchored the hosts, you know?
Yeah.
So they all have
it
a
gives
tragic
them the strongest
something.
memory foundation. I mean, you know, everybody's got, you know, people have 1,000 million mediocre days in their lives, or good days, or maybe even great days. But every time you have a bad day, like a really bad day, you're always able to recall that.
So are we talking
and
about...
it tends to surface more. You know what I think?
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe psychologists out there, you know, would probably maybe agree. I don't know.
We're talking about the Joker.
The Joker.
You know, in all the latest stuff that, well, not even latest. I mean, we're revisiting old stories. The Killing Joke. Mm-hmm. Did you see the animated one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
there were things to like about it. I mean, yes,
good.
It was freaking awesome finally having Luke
find out Vader was his father.
Yeah, no, having him finally
Luke.
Yeah, having him finally voice Joker with all those lines, and seeing the Joker while he did it. Because you know, up until there, Mark Hamill was always do that for people.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, yeah, aspects of that were just incredible. But that entire thing centered around, you know, one bad day. Mm-hmm. What decisions do you make based on one bad day type of thing?
Oh yeah. One bad day ruin you. Yeah. I did notice too that there's whenever Bernard is flashing back, it cuts back to him talking to his wife again.
Oh yeah.
And the video screen flashes and it's Ford.
It's Ford, right?
So.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if that's, you know, Bernard realizing that Ford is behind all that.
Well, it was after
in his new, you know what I mean, after he got reformatted.
Yeah, because that's what it is, and so that's what I wanted to get to with the identity makes up the cornerstone. Mm-hmm. Cornerstones are as much a stumbling block as they are identifiers, because you can't get past that memory of whatever that moment was. Mm-hmm. And I find it awesome. I wrote down, like, taking control of a dream when he overcomes the cornerstone, because I've done that many times where I'm in a dream, even a scary dream, and it's like I just get tired of running because I'm too lazy to run in my dream, and I'll turn on whatever
I run for 3 miles. I'm not really out of breath because it's a dream, but
exactly.
Forget this.
I turn on it and I'm like, why are you chasing me?
You know how many times that I've been able to do that? 0.
You've never taken control of a dream?
Never.
Oh my gosh. You've never had the flying dream?
Nope.
What?
Nope. Never have. 90, probably 90, at least 95, maybe 98% of, for me, like I lay down and go to sleep, I blink and then wake up. My alarm goes off. The vast majority of sleep for me is like blinking my eyes.
So you've never taken control of a dream to like wake up?
No. I've actually had night terrors. The terror, whatever that is, night terrors.
Yeah.
Like sleep paralysis.
Right.
I've had that. Like I had that for like 2 months, and the first like 2 times it happened, horrifying. I had no idea what was going on, except that I was awake. I could not move, and I was absolutely certain that there was somebody else in the room. Like, you know, but like I was at home with my, you know, with my wife, and was just 100% positive there was somebody else in the room. And I could not move, and after like 30 seconds of basically just having a meltdown inside my head, somehow I gained control of like my left foot and just began kicking the bejesus out of my wife. I was just like, whack, 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 whack. And so she was finally like, what? And I was like, ah. And it was just one of those days where you go, ah, you know, but I could not move anything. And it almost hurt trying. I was just, I couldn't move. And that happened. And then after that, I realized what it was. But there was still, like, the initial, I would wake up, begin getting terrified because I can't move, and I'm certain, like, somebody's sitting on my head. And then I'll go, oh, no, it's just the night terrors. And then I'll get more frustrated, and I'll just lay there for a minute, and then eventually I'll be able to move. But for about the first 3 times, it was just horrifying.
See, we could have an entire show on just this topic because, I've had experiences, and I have theories, and I've had just, I take you back to experiences, just what I experienced. I could share them, you could refute them, but I've gone through the same thing. It's interesting stuff. But, no, man, seriously, you've never experienced the flying dreams.
Nope.
See, what I find awesome about that, and I've done some studying about it because, good gosh, I must have wrote like a 19-page paper on sleep when I was in college. Because I didn't do a whole lot of it when I was in college. I had 2 kids when I was in college. So, it was like all my classmates were living in their parents' attic, fresh out of high school type of stuff. And
rolling around on the fiberglass.
They weren't sleeping because they were always getting high right before class or something. But I wasn't sleeping because I was working full-time dad, full-time husband, full-time everything. Hence the hat trick.
Full-time lazy
media.
dad.
Yeah. And, right, exactly. Full-time lazy dude. But, no, it led to me doing a study on it, and it was like, okay, so what does it mean when you fly in a dream? And the major consensus on that is that you're not tied down by any worldly problems. Well, I've had debt for a while, so I haven't had a flying dream in over a decade.
Okay. Your subconscious concurs. You are indeed shackled.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's usually what the flying dream means.
None of that. And you know the best part?
I had more of them when I was a beach bum. Yeah.
Like, it would probably be like some bizarre comedy if I was able to record them and play them back. Because I cannot, practically every dream I can ever remember in it, regardless of what happens, to me, it's real. And like, if something insane will happen, like I'll be driving to work and my car will explode, and like I'll go flying out of it and be thrown on the side of the road, and I'll get up and go, oh, man, now I gotta walk. You know, it doesn't, like, I don't pause on the idea that, like, hey, man, my car just exploded. Right. How did I get thrown out of the car and I'm unscathed? That doesn't occur to me. I'm just upset that I have to walk to work now, and I'll just leave the burning car behind. Like, well, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So I don't have that problem. But
no, I've done it many times, taking control of a dream. That's why when he does it, I'm like, holy crap, that's just like one of my dreams. Because you're just like, you become this omnipotent, godlike individual, and it's just like, okay, stop. This is how I want this to play out. He has a conversation with his son, and his son just says a simple phrase, open your eyes.
Yeah.
And when he opens his eyes, he's taken back to the first time he ever opened his eyes. And, you know, Ford wasn't lying. He kept saying, you're not going to see Arnold. Arnold was gone before you came along because I created you. And that's how it went down. They used a butt double.
Yeah.
When he stood
up. You think?
I don't know. Typically they do, I guess. But I was like, yeah, no,
we don't have a previous Bernard Butt benchmark.
No, we don't. But I just found all of that fascinating. I mean, there was a lot of fascinating stuff that took place in this one because, see, now we can, well, let's jump back to Maeve really quick so we can finish off her piece in this episode.
Oh, okay.
Because hers was, she's still interested in making her army, right? So she programs Bernard on the fly when they were having their discussion to put her back into the world. And she goes and finds her boy toy, Hector. And we finally get to see how all that plays out when he does get to take his safe. And that was freaking awesome how poetic that all played out.
Yeah, I'd written down.
Because he's like, what'd you write down about that?
That Maeve and Hector break into hell.
That's exactly the same thing I wrote down, but I just found it awesome how she's like, she goes ahead, she does the safe combination, and she's like, I want you to choose for yourself. I could force you, I could reprogram you to go ahead and do it, but I want you to choose for yourself. And she does all this, I might note, after shooting Armistice.
Yeah.
Which was pretty bad, eh? But okay, yeah, no, I wrote the same note, dude. Break into hell and rob the gods blind. Is what she asks him to do with her. Which, of course, piqued his curiosity.
Yeah.
After he had to holster his other weapon.
Yeah.
She said.
And also, to me, Elsie seems more dead.
No.
I think she's more dead.
I wrote that up here. I said, still don't know Elsie's fate.
Elsie's more dead, I think.
Why is that?
Just because she's...
That was a sleeper hold.
Every time... No, man. The $1 Million Dream is the one sleeper hold you want to use if you want the guy to go out. There was no $1 Million Dream there. That was full on...
It was a sleeper hold.
Bernard had the arm under the chin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could fake it maybe or pass out if she had her chin down underneath the arm or in the elbow, but no, she had it. Oh.
No, she's fine.
Well, yeah, because she's a host. They're all hosts.
You're being mean.
No, it means she's still around.
Oh, okay.
They can, reboot her, tell her they'll run You're Not Dead.exe and she'll come back.
Right.
That's how robots.
You gotta help me with this note because I don't remember this one. Everything in the world is empty? Is that in reference to the safe?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because he opens the safe and it's
empty.
There's
nothing in the safe.
And she says,
everything in this world is hollow. It's empty.
World. Okay.
It's not real.
Why did I write that? That seems so profound, but I couldn't remember why.
Yeah, she's commenting on the world.
Okay, so, and then they go ahead and they have their little moment in the flames.
Yep.
Getting to hell is easy.
What the heck?
The rest is hard.
Yeah, they should have showed up like bacon.
Suicide Pact.
I mean, in a burning tent?
Oh.
Why didn't they show up like bacon downstairs?
I bet you I know why.
Well, why?
Remember how, what's his name? Help me with the butcher's name. Sylvester informed her that the vertebrae was like C6 or something like that.
Yeah.
That the bomb's in. Maybe she wanted to destroy this body.
Wait, you think when she burned, her and Hector burned up.
They were crispy critters, yeah.
And then whenever she woke up downstairs, it's her waking up after Felix downloaded her into a new body.
I think it's part of her plan to freaking get herself a new
maybe
body
so.
That's bombless, so to speak.
Maybe Felix got her a body that's bombless. Yeah, see, I didn't think. I was just like, why is she not?
Yeah, because I'm like, holy crap, you're gonna burn to death. Oh, okay. But there goes that
it's
body.
Always, so it's always.
If you're gonna rebuild a body, the consciousness must be backed up someplace.
Well, it's just in like a black box, airplane type deal where it's just the head is
it's
insulated and fireproof.
Okay, but yeah, so getting to hell is easy. The rest is hard. Okay. So yeah, I mean, she definitely had a plan for let's roast ourselves like marshmallows.
Yeah.
God, I really want to get back to Dolores, so let's jump back to William and Teddy really fast.
Oh,
the only note I have on that. Do you have? What do you got on that part?
I don't know. I'd have to probably skip ahead. Is that after?
Well, we have the arrow from the original host that William met, right?
The what?
The arrow that somehow took Teddy down just by stabbing him in the arm. Gets pulled out, and she's explaining stuff to him or something like that. But they talk about the city swallowed by sand meant something to William. Because he recalls going there with Dolores.
I didn't write anything down on that.
And then it says, wakes up with Lawrence's noose on.
Mm-hmm.
On his neck.
Well, yeah.
You remember that part because, you know, the hostess chick, she comes over and she's like, you like to play games? Why don't you play one of our games? And she slams his head against a rock. Mm-hmm. And when he wakes up, comes to, he has Lawrence's noose around his neck, tied to his horse. Mm-hmm. That was a fun little
game. You think it's
game.
Lawrence's noose? It's not just a different noose.
It's got to be Lawrence's noose. It's always Lawrence's noose.
Yeah.
Every noose in this movie henceforth will be known as the Lawrence noose.
Oh, okay.
In my mind.
Okay. What was the bit where Dolores... Oh, yeah, because that's whenever Dolores... I had noted that Dolores cuts Logan.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, on the cheek?
Yeah, in the face.
Yeah.
And I was kind of curious, like, was that because it takes place 30-some-odd years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first, if you take it in that Dolores' storyline leads in that essentially timeline, leads up to that moment, that's the first time, like, Dolores cutting that guy in the face is basically like first blood on the guests. I think she's the first host. That could be the first time that, you know, an actual host committed an act of violence against a guest in the blood, you know, like in the blood sense, because clearly they can punch them, like they're, you know, they're like, oh, you can't hurt. The hosts aren't allowed to,
you can shoot blanks
to hurt the guests, even though clearly they're not worried about concussions and their long-term effects, because everybody and their brother's punching the man in black in the face,
right.
Constantly knocking him out. You know, but they're not worried about concussions on an elderly man.
No, you could have a point because, you know, as we think back to when Maeve cuts, what's his face, William.
Sylvester? Oh, yeah, William. But she cuts
that was
old
a
William.
year. Yeah, that was just a year removed from current day events. So, yeah, no, I mean, her cutting Logan's face predates everything. And I put I put down, since we jumped back to young William, he went dark fast. Don't call me Billy. You remember that moment?
Yeah. He went dark fast. I don't know if I wrote something down about that. Maybe I did, but I was like, ooh.
Well, Logan wakes up in the middle of all that mess.
Well, yeah, that's what I say. Like, William shifted gears quick. You know, he's in there. He's like, no, she's alive, and blah blah blah. And then as soon as it was visually proven that she was a robot, you know, with the Godfather 2 disembowelment.
Yeah.
Then after that,
a lot.
Yeah, he missed a gear.
He processed a lot, and then Logan's dumb enough to be like, bygones be bygones.
Yeah, it'll all be cool, buddy.
Cuts him loose, and I'm like, he is a very trusting fool.
He's an idiot.
I mean, holy crap. Because, yeah, I mean, he wakes up in the middle of, I don't know. We're for a second there, because of the way the camera panned, I thought we were looking at the maze with Logan in the middle of it, and all the body parts were making up the maze. I don't know if they meant to do that, but I was like, okay, well, yeah, that's what his maze would look like with him at the center, surrounded by freaking disemboweled and body parts strewn about. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. Did we cover all that stuff? Because seriously, pretty much all my other notes have to do with Dolores.
Oh yeah.
And her backstory of being in the city covered in the sand.
Yeah, which she goes into the church.
Yes.
And rides the elevator down.
Oh, but don't skip over. I got to read a note about that, because she's flipping back and forth between her memories when she walks into the place, and you know, she's reminded, I'm sure, of these things. And I wrote down poetic that all the hosts that are having issues with the voices in their heads are in a church to struggle with the voices in their heads.
Yeah, they think they're hearing the voice of God, so they all meander into the church. And
right. I was just like, oh my gosh, that is... I mean, I use the word poetic, but that's just genius. I love that. I mean, it's such a commentary on organized religion and where people go to try to find solace when they're having a little wackiness in the membrane.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, And then I wrote down where you were just headed. We finally walked down the stairs that we always saw.
Oh, yeah, she rode
Right?
the little one-man elevator down.
Yeah, she goes into the confession room and takes an
She goes
elevator
into the
down.
confession booth. It goes down to the room where she talks to
God.
Yeah, she talks to God about her experiences in the world.
Freaking awesome. Yeah, so the times that we saw her talking to Bernard, was she talking to Bernard? Or was she talking to Arnold?
Yeah, you don't really know at this point because of the way her mind is so broken in time.
I think we do know because we always saw that room.
Well, we did all... No,
And
wait,
we always wondered where that flipping room was.
Was that room?
Yeah, so
okay,
I
if
think
it was
she
that room... Oh,
You
yeah,
had
because...
the flight of stairs.
No, and and that's actually right at the end. Like, I got like almost a whole nother list of notes here, but way down at the bottom...
Then I'm going to have to shut up and let you talk.
It was the scene with Dolores and Arnold is real. And meaning that...
Because it's a memory.
Well, it's a memory, but she's talking to Arnold then.
Right.
Not Bernard.
Right.
The scene is with, we think maybe they were with Bernard, but they weren't. They were with Arnold.
Right.
Every time they were in that room, it was real. Not Bernard, analyzing her. It was her having an actual conversation with
Right. Because
Arnold.
this room is... It actually leads to like the original workspace where Ford and Arnold used to work, right?
Yeah.
And that was something that I noted as well. I'm like, how was she allowed to walk around?
Yeah.
Because she goes down, she walks down the hallway, and boom, we're in the hallway where we see young Ford, and he's racing into the office to have some choice words with Arnold, right? We still haven't learned what those choice words were about.
Yeah, but we don't know, though, if that's her first-hand memory or if it's a memory, from like, a recording of that area that she's just standing in, because whenever Ford walks by her, he doesn't even acknowledge that she exists.
That's true.
So, she may be remembering this event secondhand, basically, but, because they relive memories instead of...
Okay. Well, yeah, since you have more notes left than I do, I'll let you go ahead and talk, and if you got something that comes into play with what I got left.
I had written down Escalante.
We finally have the name.
Escalante is the town,
that's on the fringes.
Or Escalate, because Wyatt killed the general there. And Teddy was there, but Teddy said the devil controlled him. And I noted, like how Maeve controlled Bernard. Like, Teddy thought it was the devil, like maybe Wyatt had the same essential powers that Maeve has acquired.
Yeah.
That Wyatt was controlling Teddy in the same way that Maeve's controlling Bernard. She rewrites Bernard and the other hosts. So, to him it might be traumatic because he might remembering that he murdered, ran around and was shooting innocents in this town. But at the same time, it's because he was commanded to.
Yeah.
By potentially another host.
And eventually we're going to learn that mess.
Yeah.
Well, we have to. We've only got one episode left, so don't leave us hanging, right?
Well, you know what? Yeah, they could just, episode 1, or season 1.
Yeah.
Could just end with the big pan out where they show the whole stupid thing floating on a big saucer in outer space.
Yeah.
And then you're like, just never mind.
Yeah. Be like, screw you.
And then way out, and then right before it fades to black, floating through space right in front of the camera real quick comes Elsie's body.
Cartwheeling.
Like, But yes. I'd also noted that the Men in Black, I think the maze, like his journey on the maze, has essentially taken him full circle. The maze has taken him in a circle. Because he started out bringing Aloris to Escalante, and now, 34 years later, here comes Escalante again.
Yeah, well, she's headed back there.
Yeah. Well, that's right. But he and Teddy are headed that way, though.
Except Teddy's dead now.
Well, Teddy's a member of a cult, but that you know what I'm saying? Like that
he's a member of a cult.
He's leaving, or Teddy was leading him to Dolores, which they were basically going back to Escalante. So the Man in Black,
true.
potentially by the end, if that's where Dolores is, he's going to wind up back in Escalante.
But he's never even seen that city uncovered. Because when he went there with Dolores, it was covered with sand,
it was underground.
So, yeah.
Or it was buried. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, that's kind of interesting. And that apparently the Man in Black and Charlotte, I wrote down a name this time. The lady, the board member who's there. The Man in Black and Charlotte were stealing the data.
Oh, yeah.
Because she makes mention. Yeah, we learned that it's Charlotte's looting it. I mean, we knew that Charlotte was previously.
Yeah.
But then now the Man in Black is implicated in it, in the data theft as well.
We also learned just how powerful he is in the world because he's like the primary shareholder, right? Isn't that what he says?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want to be disturbed. And she's like, well, I want to make sure we do this with a unanimous vote. And he's like, if you want to vote for it out, then go ahead. Yeah. I don't care anymore. He's not the architect. He didn't write the story that I'm on right now. I'm trying to finish Arnold's. And I was like, well, okay then. So that'll lead to, I'm sure, some interesting drama for the season finale. No doubt.
You hope.
The way Ford's been fighting for this world this entire season, something's going down.
Yeah.
He ain't going away quietly. Let's put it that way. But yeah.
I also noted that the Ghost Nation doesn't respond to voice commands.
Oh, when we have, what was his name again? The security guy.
Stubbs.
Yeah,
Mr. Stubbs.
Yeah.
He can't control the Ghost Nation.
Well, it was interesting because also before that happens, he loses signal with the control, right? So it's kind of like once you get out too far past the crappy Sprint towers or I don't know, whoever you want to use, Verizon.
They can't hear you.
Yeah, they can't hear you. So yeah, I found that interesting.
Yeah, the implications there are kind of cool.
The fringes.
I'm not sure what place. You have to help me remember on this one. I'd written down. We see Bernard has a history of breaking down. Yeah.
No, actually, I did key in on that. I didn't write it down, but Ford said every time you follow this, it leads to you. You know, you have to be sure. Do you want the answer, right? And even Maeve says that if you're going to go after the answer, go all the way.
Yeah,
and it's awesome because you know how I've said mind screw. She uses the words that I'm replacing with screw. To explain, that's what you need to do to get some closure.
There was a coworker. I had a coworker who was. I went out on. I don't play golf, but we do video and photography, and I was asked to come do photography at a golf tournament. Yeah, and one of my coworkers showed up and was dressed like a guy who would play golf in like the 1930s. So he had like the weird, stupid, hideous sweater and the pants that came down to like the knees, but then stopped.
Flared out or something.
Like they were poofy pants, like from the waist down to the knees, and then they had the elastic that curled up and then under the knees to hold the poof, on the top. And he had like the long white socks and like the pancake hat.
Right.
He had the pancake hat, and he was out there, and I was like, "That is amazing." I said, "That's amazing. I need to take your picture." So I took his picture, and then I desaturated it and photoshopped him in the old Three Stooges golf picture. He loved that. Boy. I was like, yeah, you fit right in with this group. But also, he told me, and I've never forgotten it, but he said, I was like, what? I'm like, why the heck are you dressed like that? Yeah. And he said, because years ago, I told my wife that we had to, they had like a themed golf tournament somewhere. And, it was like, wear your most, like ridiculous hat or something. Or like ridiculous sweater. So everybody had like this absurd, he had like this absurd, jacket or something like that. Yeah. And he said that his wife was like, "What are you doing?" you know, like breaking this old jacket out. And he said, well, I've got a golf tournament to go to next week. Mm-hmm. And he said, my wife told me, she said, you can't just wear that. And he's like, what? They said wear a ridiculous article of clothing. She said, no. If you're going to do something like that, don't do half-ass.
Yeah, right.
Go whole ass. And so she went out and bought him the stupid getup he was wearing, so that he could go whole ass. And he's every time they have a golf tournament since, that's what he's worn. He's worn this hideous 1930s getup, and I was like, that is amazing.
That's nice, yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so Dolores' father is in the basement,
right,
reciting Great Stage of Fools.
Huh?
He's reciting Shakespeare. You hear him in the background, blah, 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 and you can hear him say, a great stage of fools. And I thought it was funny that it's all sort of like mumbled, and that the bit that they chose to let you hear was a great stage of fools. You know,
I guess I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Huh.
And, you know, I'm like, oh, that's a commentary on this whole thing here.
Yeah.
But and then also skipping ahead just a little bit as well, that Ford, once he's done with Bernard, seems almost excited to send him back.
Send him back?
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, after he got him... Yeah, like you were saying, you know, where they had the conversation. I can't remember what it was regarding now. The one you just mentioned a minute ago, where they were talking about...
Well, it's happened many times.
Yes, it's happened many times.
And that he shouldn't follow the thread because he won't like the answer.
Yeah, he's like, oh, yeah, you won't like the answer. But once he's done with him, he's sort of like, you know, he seemed excited, like, oh, you won't like the answer? Yeah, but go on ahead. You know, like he wanted to see if Bernard would do it again or what would happen.
Yeah, he wanted to see what he would choose.
Yeah, he wasn't like, oh, you know, maybe I need to do something to stop this guy.
Which he had built in the whole time.
Yeah, sort of the look on his face and his mannerisms.
Oh, okay. So, see, you've come across one of my notes. Why was Clem holding a water gun or, at best, a .22 caliber weapon?
What, you mean whenever she was had the gun trained on him?
Yeah, did you not see the inside of the barrel of that thing?
It's the exact same barrel that Mr. Stubbs uses.
Why Mr. Stubbs' actual gun 22s. I mean,
it's not. It's to me. See, whenever they're running around the park, it's the same thing you see the military guys using with the little yellow thing on the end that goes, "You're not going to be firing this, buddy." But in Westworld, though, everybody's running around with a gun that look like real freaking guns, but you can't shoot other people. The red marking on the barrel means this gun could kill you because it's an actual real gun. So it's sort of like an inverse, you know, like kids' guns have the little orange barrel on the end, so that cops know, oh, there's an orange barrel, it's not real.
Cops are supposed to know.
They're supposed to know. So I think Stubbs' gun, because Mr. Stubbs' gun has the red barrel, which to me means real bullets.
Right.
And then whenever Clementine has a gun, it's got the red barrel, which is why Ford doesn't just go, whatever, and, you know, this gun's going to, you know, it's going to shoot salt at me, you know, or whatever it is. You know, somebody at some point mentioned it was like salt powder or something, so that it, you know, it stings, but it's not a big deal. And Ford reacts to the gun like he knows it's a real gun, and it's because of that red orange barrel.
Well, and see what was interesting too is when Bernard pleads for his life, calls him Robert, and I loved what he said, because he said, I've told you before, never place your trust in humans. We'll always, what's the word he says? Let you down. Yeah,
we'll always let you down.
So I found that interesting. That's how it ended, but that's not the end of my notes.
Cool.
What else do you have?
Oh, I'll drive on.
Oh, okay. Well, my stuff jumps back a little bit, because before we get to that point where Bernard blasts himself in the head, which I'm sorry, he's going to survive that because it's a 22 at best. I can't see how a round that could kill would come out of that.
Well, plenty of hosts have been shot through the face anyway. There was that dude in like episode 2 that got his whole face blown out towards the camera, and I'm sure they patched him up.
True. Okay, so when we do finally see the big reveal that Bernard is Arnold, or a copy of him, we see the picture, and we see that picture, and you know they gave you the red herring of having Ford standing next to a guy that we presume is Arnold.
Yeah, for the first like 7 episodes.
But then we see, okay, you got Ford, Mystery Man, Arnold. So I wrote, so who's the guy in the middle?
I don't know. He's just the maintenance guy. You know, I don't know. He's
the janitor.
He's the guy with the mop with the mop and bucket that has to go around cleaning up all that blood.
Oh no, So I'm probably going to be stuck on that until season 2. Who's the guy in the middle? Got to be a story.
Well, yeah, you got to pose a bunch of new questions towards the end.
Dolores. Interesting question is, what is her cornerstone?
I don't know.
Has that been answered? Have we seen what her cornerstone is? Because I don't think we have. Her cornerstone is trying to recall past events with Arnold, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever went down, right? And so here's what my theory led to. And I mean, for me, it's not even a foreshadowing. It just seems to make logical sense. My last note is Dolores is Wyatt.
Oh yeah. Why for?
It
because she's
logically seems to be pointing that way, because anytime that you have the whole Wyatt story playing out, you have Teddy like going around shooting everybody, but Wyatt, clearly he's not Wyatt.
No, Teddy's not Wyatt.
But I don't know, just deductive logic, I suppose, leaves only one person. And William is just, he's tripping out over the fact the one person I've never met is this Wyatt. And
I think Wyatt's the pig soldier. We've never seen the pig soldier's face either.
No, I'm thinking
Confederate suit, like Wyatt was in the.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Wyatt was in a Confederate suit. No, I don't think the pig soldier guy was in a Confederate suit. He was in a Union suit. It was blue.
But yeah, no, I don't know, because of everything that we've learned thus far, it points to her being Wyatt.
Okay.
I mean, that's all I can recall thinking. I mean, I thought it like an episode ago, like during episode 8, I was like, make perfect sense that she's Wyatt. Because, I mean, the relationship between them and, yeah, just seemed to make sense. Oh, and actually, that wasn't my last note.
It wasn't?
Yeah, no, this is a call out to Josh, second time this episode. I was watching the credits. Additional production coordinator, Josh Smith.
Oh, okay.
So that takes me back to my previous, when I introduced him on the show. Think about it. How many Smiths do you know? And there you go. Josh Smith.
You know, well, you can thank all of the lazy agents at Ellis Island back in the day.
Oh, I'm sure that couldn't.
Oh, Mr. Gefluggerflogen, eh? Smith? Excellent. In you go, Mr. Smith. Like, well, my name's Gefluggerflogen.
Oh, yeah?
He goes, no. Your name's Mr. Smith now, because I'm not spelling that out.
Yeah.
Government.
Love it.
Yep.
So
I guess that's the big cliffhanger for us for episode 9. Then is what exactly is Dolores's cornerstone?
I'd like to know.
Her cornerstone is being Wyatt. I don't know why that. Her cornerstone is maybe her cornerstone, thanks to Arnold, is burn it all down, or whatever.
Huh? Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe that's why she's so intent on.
See, we've never come full circle with her through a day's events, and had her be like, she's never really shared with us what her cornerstone is. What grounds
she's all over the
reality.
place. I mean, we know she's all over the place. She was the damsel in distress, but then it turns out she wasn't.
Right. Yeah.
Now she's got the big boy pants on.
Yeah, and see, that's the other thing. She's got a dual personality going. Because I just didn't picture myself as the damsel.
Man, all of them are, by definition,
all have past lives, right?
They've all got multiple personality disorders.
Oh, dear. That's true. That is true.
A park full of...
So, yeah, I end with what I started with. Give this to a freaking psychology class and let them have at it. Because this would last for a couple weeks, I'm sure, the discussion.
Yeah, you could probably... Yeah.
Then you get into multiple
It's really easy to write.
Freaking split.
Thesis papers.
Yeah. Be awesome.
What was that? PCU? I think the movie PCU. Was it Jeremy Piven's character said, I majored in Game Boy or something like that. It was like I wrote a thesis on, and they had the one guy that was watching movies like the entire time, like he'd watch nonstop and was fried. Like every scene in the movie, he was in the background watching.
Yep.
I haven't slept in a week, or whatever. And
yeah,
I gotta watch them all. Man, I gotta go back and watch that movie.
Yeah, that's a good flick.
It's got a sort of a heavy-set Jon Favreau in it too.
Yeah. Before he ever thought about making Iron Man.
Yeah, it was long before MCU.
Yep.
He played a dreadhead, smart poking or a pot smoking, smart.
Smart poking. Yeah.
I'm tired, man. The fatigue, the 12-hour days are just breaking me down. I'm gonna wind up like Dolores here before too long. Give me about 2 more days. I'm going to run in and grab
Which
a coworker.
Which exercise are we on?
And be like, when are we?
I should do that to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
When we reach that 13th hour of our 14-hour day.
And then I'll scream.
When are we?
I'll just scream, this place is no good for you. And then we'll both run out. And absolutely nobody will understand what the hell just happened.
Oh, no, somebody will. I'm sure somebody... They're all staying in hotels as well, so they get to watch HBO.
Yeah, but nobody's going to remember that specific call-out like that. Those 2 lines from one episode.
You know who will? The same people that are listening right now will get
Which is exactly nobody right now.
Well, currently. But, well, no, I can't say currently because... Who knows? This could be 5 years from now.
Well, yeah, the frame of reference. I don't want to get into some infinite monkey cage. The podcast of the podcast of the podcast, where the intro is longer.
No, we're talking about the listener of the listener of the listener that's listening right now.
In my head.
Yeah. The imaginary listener has a listener. That's listening.
I want to go to work and start dancing like those people at Square Dance. That one lady that just wanders off. And they got to bring her back. No.